Good morning, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for watching and following my journey. We are on our way to Oshawa, the boonies. Not only was I the only black girl in the gym, I was also the only black girl in the town. So that within itself was my hard introduction to Gemini gymnastics. Now, one of the prerequisites for me to train in this elite program was I needed to take time off, however long it took. It was going to be a minimum of a year to just get strong, as I was not, and all of those was nots had to be filled up. As I think about this though, and as I reflect on all of these stories, the biggest theme that keeps coming into my head was I was just a big distraction, that I was a big distraction for Yelena. And I don't know if she knew it, and I don't think that was her intention. And that's not what this is about. This is just about how I was made to feel in this club. That whole year or year and a half off was almost like a test. Can she make it? Is she good enough to push through? Kind of push her to the side while I'm still working on all of my precious jewels and gems, because she had love, and she had so much love for all of the other athletes in that gym. And I was coming in as what I felt like a big distraction. So it was almost like push her to the side, let her do all this conditioning and stuff while all of my great, beautiful girls that I've spent time with has these great things coming to life. A little bit frustrating. I see this a lot as a coach myself. When you have an athlete that you started with from like 3 years old or 4 years old, and you've brought them up, and now they're 12, they're 13, and they're on that national team, and they're doing these phenomenal skills. I get it. There's a special connection there, and I get that. I respect that. But then I urge coaches to think about when new girls or new athletes come and you know that there's not going to be that serious connection of, I want to work with this person, I want to feel that, to maybe just say no. I won't be able to give her that love, sweat, and tears that I've given all these other girls. But I never see coaches do that. They always just say yes, and they accept that athlete. And sometimes they love that new athlete and they give them their all, because I've seen that too. But there's another sense where it's like, I have my babies that have been growing up and they need all the attention. So anyways, I felt like I was just this big distraction, and like, stay at the corner and do your conditioning and stretching, because you're just not good enough. You're not even good enough to be in this program, but I'm trying something with you. That's how I felt. Now, walking into this gym, and seeing all of these extremely talented Caucasian girls that looked so much younger than me, because of course I was very developed. I had big breasts, I was a lot taller. I already didn't feel like I fit in, and then I see these girls who are actually only 1 year younger, but doing like these release skills on bars and these triple connections on beam and these ridiculous vaults. I'm standing here like, I don't even understand how I've made it into this program, and how in the world am I ever going to catch up to girls that are this far ahead of the game at such a young age? At such a young age, like, that's just outstanding. And so I was just intimidated from the jump. Now, I'm at the gym and I'm doing my conditioning and stretching every day, and I'm telling you, this is intense. I trained about 35 hours a week, and for the first year and a half, I was literally only conditioning and stretching. Cast to handstands, press to handstands, rope climbs, running, sprints, working on that flexibility. There was all these elements that I was just working on day in, day out, day in, day out. And I was just doing my thing, and I knew my place. Again, when I was at East York, I knew my place. Rod told me where my place was. Danielle, Haley, they were the chosen ones. Brittany had to know her place. And it's so hurtful to me that there is a place. And I say this because one day our group was heading to bars, and everyone's taking their turns, and I'm in line and I'm next, getting ready to take my turn to, I start with my kips on the bar, and out of nowhere, Brittany! And I'm like, what did I do wrong? Get off that bar! You don't touch those bars, you use this bar only. And so I'm like, what the? I didn't know that there was two different sets of bars. I didn't know that there was a set of bars that the good white girls had to use and that the bad black girl had to use. And I say it this way because of the reaction I got the first time I touched the bar. If it was a different reaction, like, oh, no, can you please use this set of bars? These girls have to get ready for this or have to get ready for that. It would have been very different. But it was the way that it came across that initially anxiety, fear, all these different things started to build up inside of me. And then my place was set again. And Brittany had to know her place, where she stood. And I couldn't use those bars because the awesome, amazing girls that were training, I couldn't get in their way. And I all these different little things to just make sure that they were okay. So that was Brittany having to know her place. Now, after my year and a half of knowing my place, certain events, or on every event, all of the good girls got to choose the events that they wanted to use. So on beam, say there's 3 or 4 different beams, they would obviously have to get the first choice, and then I would have to fall behind and just use whatever's left. National pre-novice, there's national novice, there's national junior, there's national senior, and then there's national open, which is what I would like to call it, like the easier type of national, not so much pressure, not high performance. So typically you go through these steps to get to that national senior position, but Rod stole, he told me I was not capable, so I was too old for pre-national novice. National novice, he told me, I'm taking Danielle, I'm not going to take you. I have to jump to national junior. That's a pretty tough jump. That's a really hard jump to do. Anyways, during that year off, I got stronger. I got a lot stronger. Whatever test I was in, I passed the test because my strength was ridiculous. It was great. My flexibility was beautiful. The abilities were all coming together. So it was now time to start learning some skills, because I did not have any national level skills because Rod told me I was not capable and I could never do it because of technique and all these different things. So it was time to start learning these national level skills, and little by little, with my strength, I would start getting these amazing skills that were unique to my body and that stood out in such a beautiful way. By the end of that summer, preparing for my junior years, I ended up learning 56 skills. That's unheard of. 56 national level skills. That's absolutely unheard of. To give it perspective, most athletes are learning one national level skill maybe a year, every couple years. Maybe, you progress and you get a couple within a few weeks. But to get 56 skills, new routines on every single event, on vault, on bars, on beam, on floor. The Yurchenko that he was teaching Danielle, Rod was teaching Danielle, that he said that I would never be able to do. I got that. I was competing that. I was working on Olympic level skills. It was just unheard of. So we get into competition season at National Junior, and I'm competing and I'm doing all right. I'm making my own presence. I end up qualifying to nationals. I know that was already a big shock to many people. I get to nationals and I end up qualifying for day 2, and only top something get to actually make it to day 2. So that's another really big jump and hurdle for me. And by the end of that competition, day 2, I ended up coming 3rd in Canada. 3rd in the country. 3rd in the country. That's freaking outstanding. That's phenomenal. It's just, I didn't believe it. I mean, I never believed in myself, but when they called my name and I'm standing up on that podium, it was just like, I was dumbfounded. And so is my coach. Where did that come from, Brittany? Like, a really beautiful feeling. Felt like things were coming together. It felt like hard work was finally paying off. I had the nickname Third. My brother came up with that nickname for me. All of his friends, hey Third, what up Third? That was my nickname for so long because I was ranked third in the freaking country out of nowhere. I didn't have the easy journey on the national stream. Most girls get to stay in junior for the next few years so that they can, season themselves and get ready for that national senior position. But my journey was among the hardest. I was now too old to stay in junior and really, get those skills to another level. I had to jump right into national senior high performance. Because now I have to go against the Olympians, the world team members, the international, now it's very intimidating, it's very hard, and it would have been a really difficult and challenging journey. So we get back to the gym, and it's time to start training. And Elena comes up to me and says, hey, as you know, the circumstance, you're not going to be able to be in junior because you're too old. You either have the option to go senior or we can try to go open. And she was really pushing for this open position because for those of you who don't know, having an athlete that's in the national level takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of attention. It takes a lot of your time. And most coaches say they don't get paid that much. So, it's a lot of effort, and you really have to love an athlete to put in that much effort. If you're going to be spending 30, 40 hours a week with them, you have to love them. She didn't love me. Again, she had her seasoned, beautiful gems that she'd been working with, but the higher level you are, meaning you have pre-national novice, national junior, national senior. When you have the older ones, you're probably going to have to spend more time with them because their time is going to be ending faster than all of your, younger ones. And she wanted to spend time with her younger ones, and I was taking time away from that. So trying to have me go the option of National Open would have meant she could have coached me to that high level, but I wouldn't have to be traveling internationally, making all these beautiful teams. I wouldn't get the opportunity to go to the World Championships, the Olympics, all these high level things. National Open wouldn't be for that. And so she was really pushing for that. And I was sitting here, standing, and I remember this conversation, and I thought, I just came third in the country. I just came third as national junior. High performance from nothing. I wasn't even at the national level, jumped into the national level at a very challenging level, and ended up coming third in the country. Why are you asking me to go National Open when I have such big potential to go National Senior? Of course, at the time, I didn't understand that I was going to be taking away so much time from athletes that she didn't want to take time away from. So I say, no, I would like to go. I'd like to try National Senior. We did so good together, and I said we did so good together, because it was a team. This is what we did. I think we should try. I think that we should try. I'm capable. Then she said, well, if you go National Senior, you'll need, and she was naming all of the things that I would need on each event. And I said, I can do that. Shocked. You think you can do this routine? I said, I think I can. I know I can do it. That doesn't seem too far off from what I've just been competing. I can do it. Let me try. With apprehension, she said, okay, Brittany, we try. Very not pleased because she really didn't want to go in that direction with me. We end up trying for the National Senior. In my first few competitions, I'm just there. I'm not expecting to place on anything. I'm just, I've been thrown in, and all I can do is try my best, and my best is already not that good because my coach already doesn't think I should be going in this direction. I should be National Open, but we're trying senior because I said to try. Every competition I can feel her energy. And I ended up making it to nationals, my first year. I qualified to day 2, my first year, against all these odds, including my coach. And this is a big year. This is a big year because this is 2004. This is the year of the Olympics. So, I mean, I'm definitely not in no ridings or running for it, but it's still pretty exciting because now I'm in the group of like the Olympians, and this is Olympic tryouts, and like this whole year, you know, keeping their eyes out for this top 10 because this is a big competition. Top 10 athletes get to try out for the Olympics. So as I said, I qualified to day 2, and this is like big shocker, you know, and at the end of day 2, I ended up coming top 10 in the country. I came 10th against all the big dogs, the Olympians, the world, I came top 10 in my first year. Nobody expected this. Again, not even my coach, I know that. But nobody expected this. But the fact that it happened was just euphoric. You know, I'm standing on that podium with my little ribbon, looking down the line at all these, you know, big dogs, and I'm like, oh my God, can't even believe it! And then the exciting thing that I would have never believed in my life, I get to try out for the Olympics! I come 10th, I'm on that list. Things are looking up. Things are looking up. What a journey, you know? Rod saying I'm not capable, not teaching me any national level skills, going to Gemini, going through the test to see if I would even make it through that year and a half of just conditioning, jumping in international junior, coming 3rd in the country, jumping into senior national, making top 10. This hard journey is finally giving Brittany Habib what she deserves. I'm standing on that podium with this just disbelief in my heart, holding onto my ribbon. I'm walking around just, you know, so excited, elated at what I accomplished. And they pull me aside, they grab my parents, they grab Elena too, and they say, I know all year we've been talking about top 10 athletes. I know that top 10 get to try out for the Olympics because it's our Olympic year. Brittany Habib will not be trying out. We're not going to take her. I look at my ribbon. I look around. In my head, I said, that doesn't make sense. My parents infuriated. Well, what are you talking about? She's not going to be allowed to try out. Well, you know, Canadians and their politics. You know, we didn't expect her to be this good. You know, she really got good too fast. We haven't been watching her. We don't know what she can produce. My parents, she just competed this whole weekend. You saw what she could produce and what her potential is. You know, that's true. Anyways, the fact of the matter is we're not allowing her to try out. Well, it says top 10 athletes. Who are you going to choose? Well, there was technically a tie for 10th. So we're going to take the other. I know your daughter is number 10 on the list, but number 11 was a tie. If you look at the numbers, they have the same scores. We're going to take her. So then we still have the 10 athletes, and that's how we're going to do it. Devastated, heartbreaking. I didn't know how to digest that. And what was worst for me was that my coach, she didn't push for me. She wasn't on my side. She agreed with them in a sense of, Brittany, you know, you really aren't that good. You know, you just, there's a lot more that you have to work on. You know, like there was this sense of, I always knew that for her, good was never good enough. There were some perks in there because now as a coach, I know so many intricate details of how skills need to be done. I know that good can always be great. And I'm okay with that sensation, but I need to feel like there's a team. We need to be a forceful team together. And she was not a part of my team. Because maybe tell me that behind closed doors, Brittany, this is the situation. This is what we really need to work on. But in front of other people, when people are fighting down against me, she should have been on my team. She should have pushed and said, no, this is not okay. If the rules state this is unacceptable. Because she was a big part of making me who I was. She should have fought and said, no, this is what we need. This is what we need. Because this is what every other coach did. They fought for their athletes. They fought for their family. They fought for their daughter. Because essentially, that's what we are. We're spending how much more hours and times with them versus our own family. And she needed to be my protector. She needed to be the person protecting me, loving me, guiding me. She never did. She went on their side and said, it's true. This is only your first year. The higher level up I would have been going was the more time she would have had to spend with me. Because already within my first 2 years, I made an impact. National junior, 3rd overall in the country, national senior. This now opportunity for the Olympics and then the world. There's all these different competitions that were going to have to come into place that she didn't want to take that journey with me because it's taking time away from her pre-national novices and her national novices. I think she has one coming up to junior right now, and that's where she wants to put her energy. So there wasn't a fight for me. My distraction to her was becoming more of a distraction because I was actually kind of getting good. No matter how good I am, no matter how good I was stolen from me by so many different hands that I couldn't control. Being an outsider, being felt like the outsider, and being treated like an outsider within my own gym, not having that family love force from my coach that she gave all of her other athletes, she was never able to give me. Now, don't get me wrong, I know she tried. I do know she tried. I'm not sitting here saying that she intentionally did these things to me, but when you're trying to like someone so much, the deep down truth comes out. And I know that I was a big distraction for her, and that was really, really, really hurtful to me. And I'm just really grateful that I had a couple of other coaches there that did believe in me deep down to the root of their heart. Valeri and Marina was there for a bit. Valeri, I was his superstar, and he looks at me and you could feel it, you can air it. Nonverbal communication is so strong, and I think so many people forget about this. Someone can say they love you, they like you, they're there for you, but their actions speak differently. You can tell how someone looks at you. You can tell how someone looks at you. You can tell how someone speaks to you. And she tried, but her realness was just coming out too strong. And there's many more stories to follow up on this, but my Olympic dreams were stolen from me. No one to support me, no one to help me. I did not get to try out for the Olympics. And now I knew my place at East York. I knew my place with Rod. I knew my place in Gemini. I knew my place, but now I was knowing my place on the national team, how Canada was going to treat me on the Canadian national team as a Black athlete. National years to be continued.